Good evening, everyone. Hello and welcome to the View podcast and an extra one this week as we get ready for the Brentford game coming up on Sunday with the extra day this week. So we decided to pop on and do a kind of a bespoke look ahead to the Brentford game as well as the Crystal Palace game and just have a little chat about have the expectations changed for Leeds now coming into the next set of games after a really tricky 3 games just gone. Also, if you want to like and support the channel, you can do so on YouTube by pressing the like button or subscribing or hyping on demand. And if you're listening on audios, you can give us a channel rating and stick a comment down below as well. And we'll crack on with the pod. I'm joined by Paul tonight. We're a little bit giddy, to be completely honest. It was a bit of a let's just jump on and do a pod. And also, it's really warm where I am. And my wife has the heating settings on all evening, so I'm absolutely baked. And I get a bit silly when I'm too warm. But how are you, Paul? How's things?
Well, apart from being full of cold, so technically man flu, so I expect lots of hype and sympathy and love and support in the thing. I have to say, I'd just like to just do a bit of housekeeping and do a clarification point, if I may. Now, at the beginning of this week, you spuriously said that I was at the kids' pool at the start.
I didn't say it like that.
Well, you kind of did. You said that I was at the kids' pool or at the swimming pool, suggesting that I like to spend.
That's not what I suggested at all. I know exactly where you're. That's not what I suggested.
I know it was almost as if you were suggesting that I like to spend my time around kids' swimming pools. So, just for clarification, I was with my son, not helping him swim, but he was having a swimming lesson. I just thought for clarification that I would clear that up. That I don't spend my free spare time sniffing kids' bicycle seats or round about swimming pools.
I mean, you managed to take that completely on your own there. That was not what was meant at the start of the week. But I did say Paul was on pool duty, I believe is what I said on Tuesday.
You did. But I heard that and went, ooh.
What does he mean? And your head went there immediately because that says more about you than me.
Well, yeah, it usually does, to be fair. So, but I'm good. Other than that, no, I've got a cold. I've had paracetamol. I've had some other bits and pieces. This is shambles from the start, and long may it continue. Yep. Award-winning. Woo! There we go. All right.
Yeah, 3 days on Sports Social podcasting network, and we've already managed to probably get ourselves kicked off it straight away. So that's a good start. We're going to talk football. We're going to talk about Brentford, and I thought we'd have a press conference today being Thursday, but Leeds decided to schedule it after I told everyone on the news video we'll do a reaction to the press conference later on today. So it's tomorrow, Friday, the press conference. But we did get Keith Andrews' incredibly boring press conference. Oh my God. As an Irish person, he bores me. It's like, yeah, great question. Yeah, that's football, isn't it? Yeah, that's what it's all about. And I wanted to pull my eyes out trying to watch it to get through it. But every journalist in the place nodding off. But they've got a couple of little issues, but they've got an incredible home record to be backed up by, I suppose, coming into this. They have the 4th best home record in the entire Premier Division. The only teams better than them are Man City, Arsenal, and Aston Villa. Uh-huh. And Leeds, as an away side, have the 2nd worst away record in the entire league. We have lost 4 away games back to back. The 5th one before that being Wolverhampton Wanderers, who everybody and their granny will beat in Molyneux this season. They are toast by the looks of things. They might struggle to get another win this season, but they look to me like they're absolutely toast. But it's not going to be an easy game, Paul. I did start this off by saying, have we got fresh expectations coming into this? Because expectations were incredibly low heading into Man City, Chelsea, Liverpool. We all assume maybe 2 points would be lucky. We come out with 4. You're like, great. And then you've got Brentford, Crystal Palace, Sunderland. Sunderland will be missing a host of players, 7 gone away when we get to play them for AFCON. And they'll be also without Luke O'Nien, who'll have the 3rd match of his suspension. So they're not going to be the force that they were. Still to go and perform. Palace flying, having a good season again, but they will have a ton of games around that spell as well. We'll have to rotate heavily. That game has been rescheduled and scheduled and rescheduled again twice. But yeah, not an easy game, Paul. But yeah, have the expectations changed heading into this game now? Should they have changed, or should we keep them exactly where they were of, let's just go on the road and try and get something?
I think the expectations have changed, but not in the way that people probably expect the expectations to change, which is really weird because it sounds like you're going, I'm a magical man of mystery. Look into the eyes, don't look directly into the eyes, look around the eyes. What I'm actually saying with that is that there's a confidence level that's changed for everybody. There's a confidence level where people feel a little bit more invested in the team in terms of what they can actually achieve, because they've shown over the last 3 games that they can compete at the very highest level, regardless of who's put in front of them. So on that basis, that's where people's expectations have changed. Yes, we have one of the worst away records in the league. We know that. But what we're hoping is that Farke keeps up with the formation as it's been, but then continues to show adaptability throughout the game. That's what we need to see, and we need to keep seeing. We need Nemecha back. We need to make sure Calvert-Lewin is wrapped in cotton wool. All of those side of things, that all needs to be happening and working properly. Tanaka needs to start, for example. But I think from an expectation point of view, like we normally say with every game, give me a point now and I'll take your hands off for a point. Absolutely. But then you need to look at it in terms of where Brentford are, what they're doing, how they've played recently, what's kind of been going on, coming off of the back of 2 defeats. We're coming off the back of a win and a draw over a number of games in a short space of time. So we should be going into this game with renewed confidence, much higher than what it was. Because if we're honest, when we got to the Man City game, everybody was thinking, we're 12 games into the season, 13 games into the season, and I don't see how we're going to maintain Premier League status by the end of the season. But by the end of that 3-game run, everybody's like, hang on a minute, we can actually do this. There's something we can make something out of this now. So yeah, that's where I think expectations are going. I don't think people thinking, we can beat everybody. I think the expectation, the confidence level has come up slightly, which is the important thing.
The unpredictability factor is a huge thing for me, because we did see Daniel Farke change system twice during the Liverpool game, which was great to see. Started with the 5, which although probably wasn't as effective, I don't think we had the same intensity that we had against Chelsea with it. But even at that, it limited Liverpool to little to nothing in terms of goal scoring chances in the first half, outside of a Curtis Jones bender that hit the crossbar. And then the second half was more a case of players switching off than actually the formation not working necessarily. But he changes it then when he needs a bit more out of it and goes back to his 4-2-3-1 from last season, but then changes it again. Now, for me, it was a 3-4-3. Some people have said it was 2-4-7, whatever his system is, and he puts all the strikers on. But to me, it looked like a 3-4-3 because he was getting one of the midfielders to sit in front. So there's adaptability there. And the interesting part for me was listening to Keith Andrews' press conference today, before I nodded off, was the part about Leeds have had some good wins good results in the last couple of weeks. They've changed formation a few times. And he said, so we have to plan for both now. And that just puts a little bit of doubt in their mind, and it just affects their preparation, because before that we could have said 4-3-3, 70-minute substitutions, this is the 11, and you can plan for that. And especially kind of manager that Andrews is, static kind of systems are kind of what he likes to do. So that unpredictability factor for me is huge now, because they don't know how he's going to set up. I don't know how he's going to set up for this game. I'm assuming he's going to start with the 3 at the back. I hope he does. And then I don't mind him changing it throughout the game, because that shows, again, that word that you use, flexibility throughout the game. But it's a huge point, isn't it? It's a huge factor to add into, a layer to add into what Leeds have already got now. Yeah,
well, if you look at it pre-Manchester City second half, what was our setup? It was 4-3-3, substitutes at 70 minutes, regardless. That's just how we played. And it made it incredibly easy for other teams to work out what we were going to do, how we were going to do it, and when we were going to do it. It was kind of like we were wedded to this system of, wiping my nose. We were wedded to this system of trying to play out from the back, which doesn't suit the players that we've got. And it just made it very, very easy for other teams to work against us. And that adaptability or that flexibility of being able to move it into the unknown a little bit is what's got us through this last kind of 2.5 games from the different side of things, because the team that we're up against doesn't quite know how to react to it on the pitch. I would go a step further and say that he changed formations pretty much nearly 3 times against Liverpool in terms of the way that he played, where he went 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1, then 3-4-3, then shouted at Tanaka for not getting back into midfield quick enough. I thought he was shouting at somebody for not getting back into the third position.
That's what I thought.
But it wasn't. He shouted at Tanaka for not getting back quick enough into the midfield position. So there's that level of unpredictability, which just you have to have as being a bottom end team. When you look at teams that have been relegated, the kind of like the the predominant factor in those teams being relegated is that they're predictable. You know how to play against them. You know what they're going to do and when they're going to do it. And that's when we came up under Bielsa, we were very unpredictable in the way that we played, and people couldn't match us for the pace that we had or the fitness levels that we had. This time around, it's taken them a little while, but that level of unpredictability, I think, is what's going to be key for us moving forwards if we want to see survival in the Premier League.
Yeah, I think it's huge. Again, just it means he can be proactive from the start. So if they think we're going to go with a 4-3-3 and then Farke walks out there with 5, they immediately have to make a change. Now Farke can make another change. And now he's one step ahead every single time. And I think that puts him in a very strong position. And it shows growth from the manager as well, which is great to see. And we said again, our opinion is pretty clear on the situation. If he wasn't going to change, then change him. But he's changed. That's the course of least resistance, again, as we've said, for a couple of weeks. And a long way that continue, because it is showing growth, not just in terms of his approach to the games, but it's also shown the players can grow and actually play a different way to a different style of football and a far more effective. He used the word efficiency last week quite a lot, and they were far more efficient in this system. I mean, 8 goals against Man City, Chelsea, Liverpool. Now again, it does shift the expectations, which I don't think it should do. I think we should calm the expectations and look at going away to Brentford. We don't have a great record in London. Daniel Farke himself doesn't have a great record in London, but as Steve Body, a man who stuff I watch from time to time as well and watches this channel, always says records are definitely broken. So it gives them an opportunity. But when you look, we have it on screen here at the moment. If you listen to the audio, I'll talk you through it as well. But of the block of 5 of City, Chelsea, Liverpool, Brentford and Palace, we've got 4 points in the bag. But we're looking at Brentford and Leeds' position in the tables. And if you look at Brentford's home form this season, played 7, won 5, drawn 1, lost 1, plus 7 goal difference. They've only conceded 8 goals at home, scored 15, which is a phenomenal record. Actually, Leeds' home record has really taken a shot in the arm with the last 2 results. We've got a better home record than Chelsea, Palace, Spurs, which is hard to believe. Yeah. And if you look at the away record for Leeds, it's played 7, won 1, drawn none, lost 6, minus 12. We've only scored 6 goals on the road this season. So the fact that we've got 8 in the last 3, hopefully at least there's a different kind of an attacking threat. And as you say, Lucas Mecha being up front will be a huge part of that as well, because it gives Lucas Perry 2 points to attack with his kicks and again makes it a little bit more unpredictable. But that's going to be a real big factor to it. Keith Andrews spoke about the G-Tech Arena or the Brentford Community Stadium, whatever they're calling it this week. But he spoke about it and he said that there's a special energy in that stadium. They feed off of it and they make it uncomfortable for people. And in the last couple of weeks, I would say Leeds have started to make their games uncomfortable for the opposition. So you might have a real clash of styles coming into this one as well.
Oh, I think so. I mean, we know what we're good at. We know what we're playing it long, playing it off the strikers, midfield, moving forwards, making it tough, making it difficult, press, front press, making it uncomfortable, making people have to sweat, not giving people time on the ball, which is the key important thing that you need to do away from home. And the 3-5-2 system is going to, in my opinion, being an unprofessional professional, is that would work really well for us, particularly away from home. We proved that it would work well for us against City, but for a Gvardiol jump, we would have finished that game 2-2. So, it was just, it's, I'll be honest, I don't quite get what he's saying with regards to the atmosphere side of things at the G-Tech Stadium. Call me bitter or to call me channeling the Jerry McNamee style of talking about how stadiums are, but I don't understand it. I think what you'll hear a lot of our fans, our away fans, because they are phenomenal. But from a stylistic point of view, it'll be a huge clash of styles. It'll be, and we need to be in their face. We need to be at them. We need to be on them from the start, and we need to be difficult. We need to be a little bit dirty. We need to be a little bit rough and ready within the scope of the law and everything that goes with it. But I think we have an opportunity. I do think we have a real opportunity in this game. But we know that the things that are against us, Brentford's home form, it's London, etc., so on and so forth. But what a time to be able to break that hoodoo, hey?
Yeah, the last 5, or last 4 anyway, sorry. Away to Spurs, lost 2-0. Away to Arsenal, lost 2-0. Home to Burnley, 1-3-1. Away to Brighton, I think they lost that game as well. Away to Brighton. So on the road, they're a very different side than they are at home. Yeah, the stadium was an interesting one because there's that lovely apartment block right behind the stand. And if you go to bookings.com, you can get a really good deal to get that apartment that looks straight down into the stadium. You can see the entire match from the comfort of your balcony. So, yeah, it's strange. It's been a good place for us, to be fair. Like, I mean, we've got good memories from the season. We stayed up with Rafinha, Jack Harrison scoring in that game as well. So, and Rafinha jumping into the crowd after the match. So there's some good memories for Leeds at that place. But it's not going to be an easy game. Brentford and Leeds is always an interesting clash. It's never been straightforward between the two of us. There shouldn't be any. There's no Serge Canos this time to headbutt anybody in a dugout. So, but it'll likely still be a feisty enough game, and I hope it's a feisty enough game because I want to see Leeds. I think Leeds are at their best when they're like that.
No, I completely agree. That rough and readiness. It'll be particularly. I mean, you're going to have Ampadu up against Henderson. It's going to be really interesting to see how that transpires and how that moves forwards. It'll be it should be quite an interesting game. I'm genuinely looking forward to it. I think this now we've shown what we can do against quote unquote top teams. This is where it starts to count, and this is where we need to be picking up a point off the road, or going for the win. I'm not suggesting for any second that they don't go into a game wanting to go for a win, but that we need to be bang up and on it from the start. Otherwise, it's going to be a difficult game. When you've got people like Nemecha or you've got Calvert-Lewin up front, I mean, you just have to listen to what Conor Cody said about him on the radio this week. And just, you could, when he was playing at Everton, he hated when he wasn't in the team because it meant that him as a defender, he didn't have an out ball. And Calvert-Lewin was always his out ball for those sort of situations, and just his leap on him and everything and all of that kind of good stuff. Yeah, it's going to be a good game, I think. I hope so, anyways.
I've stuck it up on the screen there. There's a standings tracker that you sent me earlier on, Paul. Yes. Basically, it shows Brentford's standing over the course of the season in the 13 game weeks, and it shows Leeds. And they've crisscrossed a few times, but Leeds appears to be on the upward trajectory, as Brentford are coming on the downward trajectory. If you from since game week 9, they've probably been starting to drop off in form, which matches up what we've seen with the eye test as well. But do you want to talk us through this a little bit?
Yeah, so what this is, it's just, I use this when I do my preview videos. And for people on the audio, effectively, it's just a graph that just shows how people are tracking per game week. And it just kind of shows where people are sort of settling to. And you can see how the buzz of us being promoted started off really, really well. Brentford, not the best start, but then had a really good couple of games. And then, like you said, it crisscrosses over the game weeks and everything. And then Brentford had a very, very good period, a decent little run where they moved up from probably 16th up to 11th position, I think it was. And then they've just very, very gently started to tail down a little bit. Whereas we were tailing down, but we've now just started to sort of buck that trend and start to come up a little bit. And it just gives an indication as to where the teams are and what you could potentially expect from the game as well. I mean, like it shows on there, they beat Burnley 3-1 and lost to Arsenal 2-0. We've got the 3-2 loss to Man City, and then the 3-1 win against Chelsea. And it just kind of shows that the difference between the two teams and kind of where they're at with everything. So I just like that because I like the visual representation.
Yeah, same.
It makes me feel a little bit better about things because it shows that we're quite close in the table, which we are. If we win, it takes us to within a point. That's what we need to
Which is massive.
Yeah,
because we talked last week about a narrative shift, but that changes the entire narrative because as much as we all thought Brentford would struggle this year and nobody wanted to see Keith Andrews be a success, you get that win against them and all of a sudden you are 1 point behind them and it changes how the season looks. And again, that momentum keeps building, and then you got Palace and you go into what is according to Opta, one of the toughest periods for any side over Christmas that Leeds have got coming up. So you're still having to push through these tougher matches, but you're showing a resilience, you're showing character. Again, Keith Andrews talked an awful lot about that today. And even, I thought it was really interesting, we covered it in the news today as well. Ilya Groove was talking about the Man City game and the second half of that. And he said that they went in at half time and they weren't talking about coming out and keeping it 2-0. They wanted to go and get the results. And he said that's been a change. And they weren't shocked by the system change. And they weren't shocked by the attitude change. They wanted to go into these games and go and chase points. And this is the first time since City that we'll have gone away from home. And it'll be interesting to see, can we start the start of this game? Can we start with the intensity we started the second half against Man City? Can we make it uncomfortable for them in their own backyard? But that character does seem to be there. They do seem to be working hard. Again, Gordon Strachan talked about it. You usually see sides when they're struggling or having a bad time, players down on tools, maybe losing the dressing room. But that hasn't been visible from Leeds. If anything, these players appear to be fighting for it. And Ethan Ampadu said that it took us so long and we worked so hard to get here.
Yeah.
We're fighting for this, and that's what you want.
Yeah, no, absolutely. What it shows to me, forget them playing for the manager or this, that, and the other, and that narrative of getting into Farker and whether he should stay or he should go or etc. so on and so forth. What I see is 11 players on the pitch that are fighting for the club and they're fighting for the badge. And out of everything that you want to see out of your team is you want to see them representing that badge that's just over the heart and is on that side. And you want that from them. You want them to just show that determination, that pride, that passion, a little bit of bravery, a little bit of guile, and it works. When you see that, that brings everybody together. I mean, you know, there was some Liverpool fan channels that were saying somebody that had recorded the game while they were at Ellen Road walked out, and they basically called Ellen Road. It's an absolute bear pit when it's like that, and it is.
Nice.
When you go away from home, you also want your away fans, and we know what our away fans are like. We know how loud they are. We know the noise that they bring, and they don't stop singing, and that can make it difficult for the home side as well. And that's what we need. And if you've got players that are putting in the effort and playing for the shirt like you want them to be, then it brings everybody else along with you, and it makes it feel like everybody's involved, which is the key thing, because it's going to take all of us to be able to keep this team up. That's something we all have to be prepared to do. That we, you know, when you go to a game, sing your heart out, all of that kind of stuff. Yeah, we criticize and we say stuff that we're not happy about, but you also at the time when that whistle goes, you put all of that behind you, and it's just a case of you just get behind the team and do what you need to do.
I would always say that should go without question. I know people will say, you know, people are not supporting the side, or if you're having to go with the manager, you're not supporting the side. But I disagree with that. I do support my side, but I will be critical of them as well. That doesn't change my support. It doesn't change how much I love the club. It doesn't change how much I want to see them win when the whistle goes. But I will criticize them when they're not doing things right. I will criticize a manager when he's not getting things right. But I will also praise them when they do get it right. And you can't have it all one way. You can't get a pat on the back for getting promotion and 100 points and be told you're great, and then that's it forever then. So if it goes wrong, I can't say that it's gone wrong. So, I mean, you've got to be able to criticize and praise in equal measure. We say it regularly. Yeah. That doesn't change how much I support this club at any point. Like, I never go into a game going, well, I'm not happy with this manager, I hope we lose. That never happens. I go into every game going, I want to win. I want this manager to be a success. Jesus, I did it for long enough with Jesse Marsh going, I want him to be a success because then we are. I had to ignore all the stuff that was very clearly in front of us, saying, "Well, this is probably not the right guy." But you know, but you want to support your side, and I want to see Leeds win. Anyone who watches my watch-alongs will know. There's not a second when we score goals I look disappointed that we scored.
I've sent you the screenshots when Leeds have scored of you looking like you know,
psychopath.
Catch the hot dog that's being lobbed at you from distance.
But I love it. And we all do, and I think the support part should go without saying for me personally, especially on this channel anyway. I can't speak for anybody else, but for us here, I know how much we're on the phone with each other on a regular basis, you, me, and Jerry, and Oh, but also, by the way, shout out to Jerry McNamee and congratulations on his engagement.
Hey.
Yeah, text me today saying that he asked Joe to marry him, and she said yeah. So congratulations to Jerry.
I'm gonna have to message him then. I'll have to message him.
I'm gonna have to message him, and I hope that was okay to share publicly. He did to me a text going, "Get yourself a hat." I was like, "Oh, really? Something's happening? Okay, great." But yeah, for the three of us, we talk regularly on text straight after games. You text me throughout the games as well when things are happening when I'm doing a watch along. So for us, it's always the same. I want to see Leeds win. I want the best for this Leeds United side, you know. So, but again, when it's not going great, we will point out the things that are wrong and criticize them. But again, once the whistle goes, let's go Leeds, and that's who we are. But we're coming into this game, Paul, with it's a similar enough last 5 games of a run between us. There's 3 losses between the two sides. They have 2 wins. We have a win and a draw. But in terms of form, direct form, they're coming in the back. They're coming into this game on the back of 2 back-to-back losses. We're coming in a win and a draw. So there's a slight momentum shift there in terms of us, and maybe we can use that to capitalize and get what would be, based on their home record, a bit of a shock away win or a result. Again, I'd take a point right now. There's a nice turn there, and that will be a factor in this game as well, how we approach this.
I think so. I mean, you look at where we're sat with it. So they're sat on for the audio listeners. The sofa score rating for, I don't know why I went posh then. I'm sorry. The sofa score. For the audio listeners amongst us, their sofa score rating is 6.73, whilst the Leeds United sofa score rating is 6.68. There you go.
Paul's developed a mother's phone voice for audio.
Yeah, give us 3 rings when you get home. So we're getting closer in terms of where we are in terms of overall team ratings and everything, which is good to see. And I think that is down to the fact that the run of the last 5 games has been incredibly similar. And like, it just shows they're on 19 points, we're on 15 points. My goal, or what I wanted to see, was by the turn of the year, I want us to be on 20 points.
Yes,
by the turn of the year. That was what I had in the back of my head as a running goal for that. We get 3 points on Sunday, and that takes us to 18 points, which then gets us even closer to that goal of where we need to be, and things then continue to look a little bit rosier. We get a draw, that takes us to 16, and we're only 4 away. That builds that confidence. So we might, and I stress the word might, this isn't me being overconfident, we might just be catching Brentford at just the right time. And then we've got Crystal Palace after that. And Oliver Glasner said, didn't he, I think, that he's going to make something silly like 11 changes for the game.
No choice.
He's got no choice, because he has to put his best team forward for the European game to make sure that they get the qualification, because if you don't, they then can ban you from qualifying. So again, we could just be catching 2 teams at just the right time. Don't get me wrong, Palace are having a phenomenal season so far this year. And they are a very, very good. So they seem to have replaced Mateta very, very well with this. I forget the guy's name. This new striker that they've got, and he's done very, very well for them so far. So it's good. I'm like I said, that level of confidence has shifted because of these games, and I feel I'm excited about this game. Whereas I'm not looking at it thinking, "Oh, what's going to happen in this one? Oh, have we got a chance with this?" And be sort of, obviously you're nervous for every game, but it's going to be more a case of what can we do in this game? Because from what I've seen against Man City, against Chelsea, against Liverpool, we can compete really, really well. And I don't sound like a broken record with this, but we can compete really, really well. And I want us to move forwards with that confidence. And then Willie Gnonto played a strong part when he came on. Yep. And you've got Okafor, again, something different that can be brought to the team. And I said it in the last video, and I will say it again. Aronson, when he came on, that's exactly the reason why that's exactly the reason why he is your 65-minute, 70-minute, whatever substitute, because he's got that energy that he can just bring in. He's like a very, very excited puppy that just wants to run around. But he made a mockery of Curtis Jones for the 1-2 with Gnonto. For once, didn't think about it, just did it and played the ball into Stack. Stack, then you've got to give Stack a hell of a lot more credit for that goal than what some people have, because he absolutely gave Alisson the eyes on that as well, because Alisson thought he was going to Alisson's left-hand side. So that's why I just feel a little bit more, because we're talking about nice creative goals that we've scored. We're talking about chances that we're creating, which is something that we weren't doing. And it's just getting better and better and better and better. That sofa score rating for us, I think, has gone up by 0.13 overall, because I think before we were 6.53 or 6.55. Our original sofa score rating was, and it's since the last 2 games, it's gone up a little bit higher, which is good.
Yeah, it's important. We don't have the Leeds fitness or team news for tomorrow just yet. We'll get it in Daniel Farke's press conference, but we do have Brentford's Anthony Malambo, Joshua De Silva, Fabio Carvalho, and Reece Nelson are all out injured, or at least they are as of time of recording. That could change before the weekend. And Kevin Shade, which is a huge one, is suspended because he has been massive in terms of the assists and feeding their strikers and what they've done this season. We're getting them just before the AFCON players leave, and Palace will obviously be missing 1 or 2. When we played them, Sunderland are missing 7 players when we get to that game in a couple of weeks' time. So, yeah, we're just missing out on that one. But, yeah, they're missing a couple of players. That shouldn't matter. We did play Brighton, who are missing 7 players and had played in Europe played in the Cup, and it didn't matter. And we played Nottingham Forest, who played in Europe, and we're missing 5 players, and ultimately that didn't matter either. So we've got to look after our own business, as they say, and do what we can do and look after our own stuff. And then hopefully, fingers crossed, everything works out. But it's it's an interesting game, and it's nice to be able to come into the game, Paul, with a slightly different attitude towards it as well, and be a bit more positive about this. And again, I'll say it again, the performance is the main thing. You know, if they go out and play the same way they've played, no problem. If you lose to a worldie, you lose to a worldie. So things you don't want to see, cutback goals and, you know, sitting back on the 18-yard line trying to defend. Yep. So let's just keep at them and be aggressive and fingers crossed. Where's your head at going into the game?
I think we might. I hate doing
careful
predictions.
Now. Careful now.
I've got a 2-1.
What's your head and your heart say? Split it.
Right. My head is saying score draw. My heart is saying 2-1 Leeds. I just think we're on a bit of a wave at the moment. Yeah,
fingers crossed. I would take a 0-0. I'd love a clean sheet. I'd love a 1-0 win as well. Maybe 1-0. Yeah. Heart says 1-0. Head says 0-0. That's where I'm at with this. So fingers crossed. The midfield will be interesting. We got some, again, unpredictability. I don't know what he's going to do at the midfield. You've got Jayden Bogle and you've got Ethan Ampadu both coming in on 4 yellow cards. So 1 yellow card each in that game, or any game between now and the end of the Liverpool game away. They'll pick up a single match suspension. Then Farke might rotate a little bit as well. You might see James Justin come in there. The midfield could be slightly different. Does he start Tanaka? Does he not start Tanaka? So great stuff, because I love the unpredictability, because it means that Brentford don't know what they're doing either. And this is great. I mocked it on BBC Radio Leeds a few weeks ago when I said, I don't need a whiteboard or a tactics board or a sports science team or a sports analyst team to tell you what Daniel Farke is going to do at the weekend. I can tell you right now. Exactly. I cannot tell you what he's going to do against Brentford, and I'm happy about that. Fingers crossed he plays silly bugger in the press conference tomorrow and starts making up lots of stuff like he did 2 weeks ago. I'm okay with that. Let's go down that route. But we'll see how we get on. We will have the news on Friday morning. We'll have a press conference reaction over on bigup.com. We'll try and get some sort of a stats pack out either Friday night or Saturday morning, just depending on time. And then we'll have to watch along over on Big Up on Sunday. And then we're back in to get ready for the Crystal Palace game and getting very much into the festive period then, of which there's no Boxing Day games or Stevens' Day games, as we call it, this year. But there is still plenty of matches to get stuck into over the next 2 or 3 weeks. And we'll hopefully come out of this into a January window with a bit of positivity, and hopefully Leeds will go and get some work done nice and early, and not Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. Oh, Ryan Kent's been released by Seattle Sounders, so he might be,
bring him back in.
Right time. What a time. Ryan Kent to Leeds. Here we go. Folks, that'll do it. We'll leave it there. Paul, massive thanks. What's going on your channel this week?
I did a little video. It might not be for everybody. It's just a little 10-minute video talking about the Salah incident, but the wider issue of player power within football, and just how weird the football bubble is and the way it can make you look at stuff. I've got a preview video that will be coming out tomorrow. It'll either be out at 9 a.m. or it'll be out at 12 p.m., depending on when I get everything sort of finished for that. But just quickly again, I've gone over the 4,000 subscribers now, which is incredible for me. So Excellent. Thank you for the support. I genuinely appreciate it. All the people that interact with my videos, it's fantastic, that like to talk and say stuff. Look, you don't have to agree with me. You can agree with me. All of that kind of stuff. It's brilliant. So I genuinely appreciate it. I said it in a post. I'm just a middle-aged bald man that loves his football club and likes to talk about it. And people seem to like to listen to what I've got to say. So I'm on the road to 5,000 now, hopefully, but we just got to keep it going. And just the views over the past 28 days as well has been next level for me. It's what I've not experienced for a very long time. So I appreciate you all. Thank you.
No problem. Paul is at the Leeds Therapy. You can check out his details in the description as well of the video. And outside of that, I'll see you tomorrow morning, Friday morning, for the news. Enjoy the rest of your evening or morning or whenever you're listening or watching this, and I'll talk to you soon. See you later. Bye.